Welcome to a virtual tour of proposed improvements and new plantings for the Daniel Boone Native Garden. This is a proposal for just a third of the 4-acre garden. This plan is for the core area of the garden, which is the part of the garden currently most visited. This proposal is for the core area to become more of a magnet for visitors than it currently is, and it's designed with the intent of inspiring visitors to use native plants in their home landscapes. The core area is intended to be not just a showplace for plants native to Western North Carolina, but a demonstration garden for other sustainable landscape practices as well. Doing this is in line with the mission of the garden. Initially designed, installed, and opened in the early 1960s, the mission of the Daniel Boone Native Garden is to protect and conserve native plants of North Carolina. The current proposal is to carry out that mission in two different ways in two different areas of the garden. The first expression of the mission is intended for 2/3 of the garden and is not the focus of this presentation, so it will only be mentioned here. This first area is mostly wooded and is a place where native plants are curated for observation by the public in the existing natural setting. This recent photo shows a part of this area. The second expression of this mission is the core area of the garden, just 1/3 of the total garden area. It's a proposal for the core area that's the focus of this presentation. The intent of the core area is to attract visitors into the garden to inspire them to plant natives in their home landscapes. Going back to the plan for the core area, you'll notice a heavy dark red line for the core area that's the focus of this presentation. The core area is above that line, and the other 2/3 of the garden is the wooded area directly below that line. This is a detailed view of the core area plan. With that, let's take a tour of the core area as it's proposed, starting at the entrance. You're looking at pans of the main entrance to the garden, showing the proposed plantings through the seasons. Remember that the core area will not only be a showcase for natives that will be appealing to visitors, but also a showcase for sustainable landscape practices. One of these practices is to use combinations of plants intended to function like highly functional plant communities found in nature. Over 30 of these combinations will be reviewed during this tour, at which time we'll go over their functioning, bloom, succession, and the ecosystem services they perform. Stormwater management and erosion control are two additional attributes of sustainable landscapes. All proposed plantings will be shrubs, grasses, ferns, or combinations with dense ground cover to filter stormwater effectively. There's an existing depression which part of the garden drains to, which will be planted as a rain garden. A rain garden is a great stormwater management measure. Another aspect of sustainable landscapes is low maintenance. The lower the maintenance required for a landscape, the more apt the landscape's owner is to keep up with the maintenance that's required. Homeowners will be attracted to planting low-maintenance landscapes at home. Shall we take a virtual look inside the garden as proposed? If you're familiar with the garden, then you'll recognize that the proposed entry walk shown here is accessible to those with mobility impairments. Whereas currently there's a small terrace at the gatehouse and another small terrace at the entrance gate, this proposal is to create a smooth, accessible, and even unified terrace. The people you see here are watching a concert on the new stage during a Roots in the Garden concert. For that to happen, In addition to the other landscape plantings, existing trees and large shrubs will be trimmed up and thinned out to make views to the stage possible. These guests are eagerly awaiting for the band to come out on stage. The current proposal shows plantings around the terrace. There's a path that leads into the grove just above the wedding lawn wall. Nothing is currently proposed for this grove. Groves like this just about completely take care of themselves. That is one of our goals for the garden improvements. Landscapes which, like this grove, can take care of themselves. Well, we know the rest of the garden maintenance will never be quite as easy as this grove. Again, there's no plan to improve the grove. It seems perfect as it is, and it can serve as a constant reminder that any plot of ground can be beautiful and at the same time demand very little from us beyond our appreciation of it. When the garden was planned, installed, and opened in the early 1960s, it was installed around a plan created by landscape architect Doane Ogden. A schematic of that plan is shown here. At the core of the plan is a long axis. Shown here is a recent view down that axis to a large oak tree. The current proposal is to provide more color along this view through the seasons. Looking back at the early schematic plan for the garden, the central axis is flanked on the left by the wedding lawn. It's flanked on the right side by the meadow and picking porch. It's spring in our proposed garden, and there's a wedding happening on the wedding lawn. The stone wall, probably more than anything, gives the wedding lawn its iconic character. The proposed plan shows plantings on top and above the wall, blending into the grove mentioned earlier. There's a succession of blooms into summer. There must be a Roots in the Garden concert happening. The pop-ups you see were set up by vendors. As an out-of-the-way place, when there's not a wedding going on, the wedding lawn is inviting to quieter pursuits as well, like a yoga class that meets here regularly in warmer weather. In the winter, berries on American hollies and possum haws, black haws and other viburnums, and flowers on witch hazels and spicebush brighten up landscapes of muted tan, gray, and russet hues. The pickin' porch, which you'll see in a moment, is a 90s addition to the garden. It's been joined in 2024 by the Roots in the Garden concert series stage and observation deck overlooking the Squire Boone cabin. Thank you, Town of Boone, for the stage and deck. Here are more concertgoers relaxing while the band is taking a break. The foliage colors that create the backdrop for the autumn garden require little upkeep. The winter remnants of autumn blooming grasses and forbs add aesthetic charm to the winter garden, but those stems and stalks are even more important to the life cycles of overwintering insects, including moths, butterflies, and bees. We're going to move back to the garden entrance, where we will step through the garden to observe over 30 different planting combinations, each of which is intended to function like a natural plant community. It's springtime again, and we just passed over the rustic arbor. We're passing up and over the wedding lawn, and we're passing over the planting beds between the wedding lawn and the main LA. We're moving up and over the main steps, and we're passing over the proposed unified terrace. As proposed, it will be accessible to mobility impaired visitors. That positions us to start our one-by-one planting combination tour. Pacra aurea, common name golden groundsel, and Vernonia noveboracensis, or New York ironweed, thrive together, creating a vibrant, weed-suppressing landscape. Pacra forms a dense, spreading ground cover with semi-evergreen foliage, shading out weeds and maintaining soil moisture. Its bright yellow blooms in spring give way to the towering stems of Vernonia, which produce deep purple flowers in late summer, ensuring season-long interest for pollinators. Their root structures complement each other. Pacra's shallow rhizomes coexist with Vernonia's deeper clumping roots, minimizing competition. Vernonia has historical significance. It was once used medicinally as a digestive tonic. The combination balances structure, texture, and bloom succession while requiring little maintenance. Both plants are highly deer resistant. Pacra aurea, common name golden groundsel, and Panicum virgatum, or switchgrass, form a dynamic, low-maintenance pairing that enhances both visual appeal and ecological function. Pacra spreads quickly, creating a dense ground cover with semi-evergreen foliage that suppresses weeds and conserves soil moisture. Its golden spring blooms attract pollinators before giving way to the upright, arching stems of Panicum, which reach their full height by summer. The airy seed heads of Panicum add movement and winter interest. Their root systems are highly compatible. Pacra's shallow rhizomes spread across the surface, while Panicum's deep fibrous roots stabilize the soil. Panicum has a long history as a forage crop and is valued for its resilience. Together, these plants create a sustainable, season-spanning display, offering beauty, erosion control, and habitat for birds and beneficial insects in sun to part sun settings. Both plants are highly deer resistant. Pacra aurea, common name golden groundsel, and Pycnanthemum muticum, or clustered mountain mint, create a dense, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in sun to part sun. Pacra spreads across the ground, forming a lush, weed-suppressing carpet with golden spring blooms. As its flowers fade, Pycnanthemum emerges, producing silvery bracts and pale lavender blooms that persist into late summer, drawing bees, butterflies, and other beneficial insects. Their root systems are well matched. Pacra's shallow rhizomes fill gaps at the soil surface, while Pycnanthemum's fibrous roots anchor the soil without overwhelming its companion. Known for its strong aromatic foliage, Pycnanthemum defers browsing pets while releasing a refreshing scent when brushed. This pairing ensures continual seasonal interest, providing beauty, habitat, and resilience, making it an excellent choice for a low-maintenance, ecologically valuable landscape. Both of these plants are highly deer-resistant. Pacra aurea, common name golden groundsel, and Schizocerium scoparium, or little bluestem, create a striking, low-maintenance pairing that offers year-round visual interest and ecological benefits. Pacra forms a dense ground cover, suppressing weeds while its golden blooms brighten the landscape in spring. As the season progresses, Schizocerium scoparium, a compact, upright grass, adds vertical contrast with its fine blue-green foliage, which transitions to rich copper and purple tones in fall. Their root systems coexist well. Pacra's shallow rhizomes spread along the soil surface, while Schizocerium's deep fibrous roots anchor the soil and improve drainage. This combination supports pollinators, provides shelter for beneficial insects, and offers winter interest with Schizocerium's persistent seed heads. Together, They create a resilient, drought-tolerant planting that enhances biodiversity while maintaining an elegant, naturalistic appearance in sun-to-part-sun landscapes. Both of these plants are highly deer-resistant. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Phlox subulata, or moss phlox, and Solidagos fasciculata, common name autumn goldenrod, create a vibrant, pollinator-friendly planting with continuous seasonal interest. Allium cernuum emerges first, its delicate, drooping pink blooms appearing in early summer, attracting bees and butterflies. Phlox subulata spreads low to the ground, forming a dense, evergreen mat covered in bright spring flowers, suppressing weeds while softening the planting. Solidagos fasciculata rises in late summer, its golden blooms providing a final burst of color and vital nectar for pollinators. Their root systems complement each other. Allium's bulbs remain undisturbed beneath Phlox's shallow roots, while Solidagos' fibrous system coexists without crowding. Notably, Allium cernuum was historically valued by indigenous peoples for its medicinal properties, used to treat colds, infections, and as a seasoning, much like cultivated onions. All three are highly deer-resistant, with the goldenrod most likely to get a light browsing. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Asclepias syriaca, or common milkweed, and Carex radiata, common name eastern star sedge, create a diverse, wildlife-supporting planting with layered textures and seasonal interest. Carex radiata blooms first, but less conspicuously than the other two. Allium cernuum blooms in summer, its nodding pink flowers attracting early pollinators. Asclepias syriaca follows with clusters of fragrant, nectar-rich blooms that sustain bees and butterflies, while its leaves serve as a crucial larval food source for monarch caterpillars. Carex radiata provides a soft, low-growing backdrop, helping to retain moisture and suppress weeds. Their root systems are well matched. Allium's bulbs remain undisturbed beneath the sedge, while milkweed's deep taproots allow it to coexist without competition. Asclepias syriaca has a fascinating industrial history. Its seed floss was once used in life jackets during World War II as a buoyant, water-resistant alternative to kapok fiber. All three are highly deer-resistant. Carex radiata, common name eastern star sedge, and Leucothea fontanesiana, or dog hobble, create a lush, layered planting that thrives in part shade to full shade, offering year-round visual interest and ecological benefits. Carex radiata forms a fine-textured, gently arching ground cover that stabilizes soil, retains moisture, and suppresses weeds with its soft, clumping habit. Above it, Leucothea fontanesiana adds structure with its elegant, cascading branches and glossy evergreen foliage, which turns deep burgundy in fall. In spring, its fragrant white flowers attract pollinators, enhancing biodiversity. The root systems are highly compatible. Carex's fibrous roots fill gaps in the understory, while Leucothea's woody roots establish deeper without competing. Of interest, Leucothea fontanesiana was traditionally used by indigenous peoples for making natural dyes. This pairing offers a resilient, low-maintenance solution for shaded landscapes, blending texture, seasonal beauty, and wildlife support. Both are highly deer-resistant, but Leucothea can be lightly browsed when deer pressure is high. Fothergilla gardenii, common name dwarf fothergilla, Tholipteris noveboracensis, or New York fern, and Tiarella cordifolia, common name foamflower, create a layered, seasonally dynamic planting that thrives in sun to part shade. Fothergilla, a compact shrub, provides early spring interest with fragrant white bottlebrush flowers before developing brilliant red, orange, and yellow fall foliage. Beneath it, Thalictris novaboracensis forms a soft, feathery backdrop with its spreading fern fronds, offering a lush, weed-suppressing ground layer. Tiarella cordifolia further enhances the composition by weaving through the fern's base, its delicate, foamy white flowers appearing in spring and its semi-evergreen foliage persisting through winter. Their root systems are highly compatible. Fothergilla's woody structure anchors the space, while the fern's rhizomes and Tiarella's runners fill the gaps. This trio ensures continuous seasonal beauty, creating a low-maintenance, ecologically valuable planting with rich texture and color. While the foamflower and ferns are highly deer-resistant, Fothergillas are frequently browsed. Carex pennsylvanica, common name Pennsylvania sedge, Lobelia cardinalis, or cardinal flower, Tradescantia virginiana, or spiderwort, and Solidago spheculata, common name autumn goldenrod, create a dynamic, seasonally evolving planting that supports pollinators while suppressing weeds. Carex pennsylvanica forms a soft, semi-evergreen ground cover, stabilizing soil and allowing space for perennials to emerge. Tradescantia virginiana blooms first, its violet flowers opening in the morning and closing by afternoon, attracting early season pollinators. Lobelia cardinalis follows, with tall spikes of brilliant red blooms in mid to late summer, drawing hummingbirds. Solidago spheculata completes the succession with golden late season flowers, providing vital nectar for bees and butterflies. Their root systems are compatible. Carex's fine roots weave through the soil, while the perennials develop deeper but non-aggressive structures. Notably, Lobelia cardinalis was used by indigenous peoples for medicinal purposes, particularly as a treatment for respiratory ailments and heart conditions. The pen sedge and autumn goldenrod are highly deer-resistant. Cardinal flower is occasionally browsed, and the spiderwort is the most vulnerable. Pacra aurea, common name golden groundsel, Spirea alba, or meadowsweet, and Spirea tomentosa, or steeplebush, create a vibrant, pollinator-friendly planting with continuous seasonal interest. Pacra spreads across the ground, forming a dense, weed-suppressing mat with bright yellow blooms in spring. Spirea alba, with its airy white summer flowers, adds height and movement, while Spirea tomentosa follows with striking pink blooms, extending floral interest into late summer. Their root systems complement each other. Pacra's shallow rhizomes coexist beneath the deeper, fibrous roots of the Spirea species, ensuring stability without excessive competition. Of interest, Spirea alba and Spirea tomentosa were historically used for their high salicylic acid content, a natural compound with pain-relieving properties, making them early medicinal sources for treating fevers and inflammation. Together, these plants offer beauty, biodiversity, and resilience in sun to part-sun landscapes. All three plants are highly deer-resistant. Arctostaphylos uva ursi, common name bearberry, Solidago spheculata, or autumn goldenrod, and Symphyotrichum oblongifolium, common name aromatic aster, create a resilient, pollinator-friendly planting with season-long interest. Arctostaphylos uva ursi, a low-growing evergreen ground cover, spreads to suppress weeds while producing delicate pinkish-white spring flowers and red berries that persist into winter, supporting wildlife. Solidago spheculata rises in late summer with golden blooms that attract bees and butterflies, followed by Symphyotrichum oblongifolium's lavender blue flowers, which provide nectar well into fall. Their root systems are compatible. Arctostaphylos's shallow trailing roots stabilize soil, while the deeper fibrous roots of Solidago and Symphotrichum allow for harmonious coexistence. Notably, Arctostaphylos uva ursi has a long history of medicinal use, particularly in Native American traditions, where its leaves were used as a urinary tract treatment and in ceremonial smoking blends. The goldenrod is highly deer resistant, whereas the other two are less so. Carex appalachica, common name Appalachian sedge, and Itea virginica, or Virginia sweetspire, create a graceful, low-maintenance planting with year-round appeal. Carex appalachica forms soft, fine-textured tufts that gently spread, suppressing weeds while allowing space for companion plants. Itea virginica provides seasonal drama with cascading white flowers in late spring that attract pollinators, followed by brilliant red and burgundy foliage in fall. Their root systems are highly compatible. Carex's shallow fibrous roots intermingle without competing with Itea's deeper, spreading root system. This pairing thrives in sun to part shade, offering beauty and ecological benefits with minimal care. Notably, Itea virginica was historically valued for its strong, flexible wood, which was sometimes used for crafting baskets and tools. Together, these plants create a visually soft yet structurally dynamic planting, supporting biodiversity while enhancing the landscape. The Appalachian sedge is highly deer resistant, while the sweetspire is occasionally browsed. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Phlox subulata, or moss phlox, and Symphotrichum oblongifolium, common name aromatic aster, create a dynamic, season-spanning planting that supports pollinators while suppressing weeds. Phlox subulata shows first, forming a dense evergreen carpet of pink, purple, or white flowers in early spring. Allium cernuum follows in summer, with nodding pink blooms that attract bees and butterflies. Symphotrichum oblongifolium completes the cycle in fall, producing lavender blue flowers that provide late-season nectar. Their root systems are well balanced. Phlox's shallow spreading roots stabilize the soil, while allium bulbs remain undisturbed, and Symphotrichum's fibrous roots integrate without overcrowding. Of interest, Symphotrichum oblongifolium was traditionally used in Native American medicine for treating fevers and respiratory ailments. This trio offers a continuously blooming, resilient, and ecologically beneficial landscape combination. The nodding onion and moss phlox are highly deer resistant, while the aromatic aster is occasionally browsed. Echinacea purpurea, common name coneflower, Iris cristata, common name dwarf crested iris, Iris versicolor, common name blue flag iris, and Solidago rugosa, common name rough goldenrod, create a layered, pollinator-friendly planting with vibrant seasonal interest. Iris cristata blooms first in spring, its slow-growing, violet-blue flowers forming a delicate ground cover. Iris versicolor follows with taller, striking blue-purple blooms in late spring to early summer, thriving in moist soils. Echinacea purpurea provides mid to late summer color with bold, pink-purple daisy-like flowers that attract bees, butterflies, and birds. Solidago rugosa extends the season into fall with its golden sprays of flowers, ensuring continuous nectar sources. Their root systems complement each other. Irises spread through rhizomes, Echinacea develops a deep taproot, and Solidago's fibrous roots fill in gaps. Notably, Echinacea purpurea has a rich medicinal history, traditionally used to boost immune function and treat infections. Together, they create a biodiverse, visually dynamic landscape. The irises and goldenrod are highly deer resistant, while the coneflower is occasionally browsed. Baptisia australis, common name false indigo, Eutrochium dubium, or little Joe Pye weed, Helianthus angustifolius, or swamp sunflower, Ilex glabra, common name inkberry, Pacra aurea, or golden groundsel, and Physocarpus opulifolius, common name ninebark, form a diverse, resilient planting that provides structure, seasonal color, and ecological benefits. Pacra aurea spreads across the ground, suppressing weeds with its semi-evergreen foliage and golden spring blooms. Baptisia australis follows, with striking blue pea-like flowers in late spring, its deep roots stabilizing the soil. Eutrochium dubium and Helianthus angustifolius rise in late summer, offering nectar-rich pink and bright yellow flowers that attract pollinators. Physocarpus opulifolius adds texture with its peeling bark and spring blooms, while Ilex glabra provides evergreen structure and berries for wildlife. The root systems are highly compatible. Pacra's rhizomes weave through while deeper-rooted shrubs and perennials coexist without competition. Notably, Baptisia australis was historically used for producing blue dye before indigo became widely available. The false indigo, inkberry, and pacra are all quite deer-resistant, while the Joe Pye, sunflower, and ninebark are occasionally browsed. Carex grayei, common name gray sedge, Cercis canadensis, or eastern redbud, and Cornus florida, or flowering dogwood, create a layered, visually dynamic planting with year-round appeal. Carex grayei, with its distinctive star-like seed heads, forms a lush, low-maintenance ground cover that helps retain moisture and suppress weeds. Cercis canadensis blooms first in early spring, covering its branches with striking pink flowers before heart-shaped leaves emerge. Cornus florida follows with classic white bracts, offering nectar for pollinators and later producing red berries that sustain birds in fall. Their root systems complement one another. Carex's fibrous roots stabilize the soil, while the tree's deeper roots allow them to share space without competition. Of interest, Cornus florida was historically used by indigenous peoples for medicinal purposes, including treatments for fever and digestive ailments. This trio provides seasonal beauty, habitat, and ecological value. The sedges are highly deer-resistant, as are dogwoods and redbuds, once they grow above deer browsing range. Chrysogonum virginianum, common name green and gold, Liatris spicata, or blazing star, and Symphyotrichum cordatum, common name blue wood aster, create a well-balanced, pollinator-friendly planting with continual seasonal interest. Chrysogonum virginianum spreads low to the ground, forming a dense mat of semi-evergreen foliage and bright yellow blooms in spring and early summer, suppressing weeds while stabilizing soil. Liatris spicata follows with tall, spiky purple flower wands in mid to late summer, attracting bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Symphyotrichum cordatum extends the display into fall with clusters of small lavender blue flowers that provide a crucial late-season nectar source. Their root systems are highly compatible. Chrysogonum's shallow rhizomes weave through the soil, while Liatris's deep taproots and Symphyotrichum's fibrous roots allow for harmonious coexistence. Notably, Liatris spicata was historically used for medicinal purposes, including treatments for kidney ailments and sore throats. Together, these plants create a long-blooming, resilient, and ecologically valuable planting. All three are occasionally browsed by deer. Asclepias tuberosa, common name butterfly milkweed, Phlox stolonifera, or creeping phlox, and Symphyotrichum cordatum, common name blue wood aster, create a vibrant, season-spanning planting that supports pollinators while maintaining a balanced structure. Phlox stolonifera forms a lush, spreading ground cover that bursts into color in early spring with soft pink, purple, or white blooms, suppressing weeds and stabilizing soil. Asclepias tuberosa follows with bright orange summer flowers that attract butterfly, particularly monarchs, while its deep taproot ensures drought resilience. Symphyotrichum cordatum completes the sequence in fall with a profusion of small, lavender blue flowers, providing a crucial nectar source for late-season pollinators. Their root systems are well matched. Phlox's shallow runners coexist with the fibrous roots of the aster and the deep, anchoring taproot of milkweed. Historically, Asclepias tuberosa was used to treat respiratory ailments, earning it the name pleurisy root. Together, these plants create a stunning, wildlife-friendly display. The butterfly milkweed and creeping phlox are quite deer-resistant, with the blue wood aster being less so. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Phlox subulata, or moss phlox, Symphyotrichum lateriflorum, or calico aster, and Symphyotrichum oblongifolium, or aromatic aster, create a resilient, pollinator-friendly planting with blooms spanning multiple seasons. Phlox subulata forms a dense, evergreen ground cover with bright spring flowers, suppressing weeds and stabilizing soil. Allium cernuum follows with delicate, nodding pink blooms in early summer, attracting bees and butterflies. As summer transitions to fall, Symphyotrichum lateriflorum produces airy sprays of small white flowers, while Symphyotrichum oblongifolium adds a final burst of lavender blue blooms, ensuring nectar availability for late-season pollinators. Their root systems complement each other. Phlox's shallow runners, allium's bulbs, and the aster's fibrous roots create a balanced, layered composition. Of interest, Symphyotrichum lateriflorum was traditionally used in herbal medicine to treat fevers. This combination offers lasting beauty and ecological benefits. The nodding onion and moss phlox are quite deer-resistant, while the asters are occasionally browsed. Echinacea purpurea, common name coneflower, Iris cristata, or dwarf crested iris, Iris versicolor, or blue flag iris, Solidaga rugosa, common name rough goldenrod, and Solidaga specillata, or autumn goldenrod, create a vibrant, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in sun to part sun with continuous seasonal interest. Iris cristata blooms first in spring, forming a low, spreading ground cover with delicate violet flowers. Iris versicolor follows in late spring to early summer, producing taller, deep blue-purple blooms that thrive in moist soils. Echinacea purpurea emerges next, its bold pink-purple daisy-like flowers attracting bees, butterflies, and songbirds through summer. Solidago rugosa and Solidago specillata extend the display into fall with golden floral sprays, providing a crucial nectar source for late-season pollinators. Their root systems complement each other, with irises spreading through rhizomes, Echinacea's deep taproot anchoring the planting, and Solidago's fibrous roots filling gaps. Notably, Iris versicolor was historically used for medicinal purposes, particularly as a treatment for liver ailments. Together, this combination offers layered textures, vibrant colors, and lasting ecological benefits. The irises and goldenrods are highly deer-resistant, while the coneflower is occasionally browsed. Aronio melanocarpa, common name black chokeberry, Carex grayei, or gray sedge, Viburnum acerifolium, or maple leaf viburnum, and Viburnum nudum, or smooth witherrod, create a dynamic, multi-season planting that thrives in sun to part sun, offering habitat and food for wildlife. Carex grayei provides a soft, flowing ground layer with its distinctive star-like seed heads stabilizing soil and suppressing weeds. Aronio melanocarpa follows with clusters of white spring flowers, glossy green foliage, and antioxidant-rich black berries that support birds in fall. Viburnum acerifolium and Viburnum nudum add structural height, with acerifolium's soft macle-like leaves turning brilliant red in autumn, while nudum produces creamy white flowers in summer, followed by striking pink to deep purple berries. Their root systems are highly compatible. Caryx's fibrous roots weave through the understory, while Aronia and Viburnums establish deeper, spreading root structures. Of interest, Aronia melanocarpa was traditionally used by indigenous peoples for its highly nutritious berries, which are dried for winter sustenance. This combination creates a resilient, low-maintenance planting with year-round beauty and ecological benefits. The sedge is highly deer-resistant, while the shrubs all may be browsed when young, but can grow above the browsing height of deer. Aronia arbustifolia, common name red chokeberry, Aronia melanocarpa, or black chokeberry, Carex stricta, or tussock sedge, and Viburnum nudum, or smooth witherrod, create a robust, wildlife-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions, offering year-round visual interest and ecological benefits. Carex stricta forms a dense, mounding base that stabilizes soil, retains moisture, and suppresses weeds with its fine-textured, arching foliage. Aronia arbustifolia and Aronia melanocarpa add multi-season appeal, producing clusters of white spring flowers for pollinators, followed by glossy green leaves that turn fiery red in fall. Their berries, red in Aronia arbustifolia and black in Aronia melanocarpa, provide valuable late-season food for birds. Viburnum nudum enhances the display with creamy white summer flowers and striking pink to deep purple berry clusters. Their root systems are well balanced. Caryx's fibrous roots fill the understory, while Aronia and Viburnum developing spreading, stabilizing root structures. Notably, Aronia arbustifolia was used to make natural dyes from its vibrant red fruits. This combination offers a resilient, low-maintenance planting that supports biodiversity while providing year-round beauty. The sedge is highly deer-resistant, while the shrubs may all be browsed when young, but can grow above the browsing height of deer. Chrysogonum virginianum, common name green and gold, Eutrochium fistulosum, or little Joe Pye weed, Helenium autumnale, or sneezeweed, and Thuya occidentalis, common name American arborvitae, create a dynamic, pollinator-friendly planting with strong seasonal interest in a sunny to part-sun setting. Chrysogonum forms a dense, semi-evergreen ground cover, its bright yellow flowers blooming in spring and early summer while suppressing weeds. Eutrochium fistulosum follows with towering stems and large pink flower clusters in mid to late summer, attracting butterflies. Helenium autumnale extends the floral display into fall, its golden daisy-like blooms providing crucial nectar for late-season pollinators. Thuya occidentalis adds evergreen structure, offering year-round interest and wildlife shelter. Their root systems complement each other. Chrysogonum's shallow rhizomes coexist with the fibrous roots of Helenium and Eutrochium, while Thuya's deep roots anchor the planting. Sneezeweed is an unfortunate misnomer. It's insect-pollinated, so it doesn't cause allergic reaction. It's confused with the wind-pollinated ragweed, which blooms at the same time and does make people sneeze. Together, this combination provides habitat, biodiversity, and seasonal beauty with minimal maintenance. The sneezeweed is highly deer-resistant. The others are occasionally browsed by deer. In the case of the arborvitae, deer browsing can be disfiguring. Bouteloua gracilis, common name blue grama, Mertensia virginiana, or Virginia bluebells, and Monarda didyma, or scarlet bee balm, create a dynamic, wildlife-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions while providing a succession of blooms in textural contrast. Mertensia virginiana emerges first in early spring, producing delicate, nodding blue flowers that attract early pollinators before going dormant in summer. As the bluebells fade, Monarda didyma takes over with bold, red tubular flowers that draw hummingbirds and butterflies throughout mid to late summer. Bouteloua gracilis, a fine-textured warm-season grass, provides year-round structure with its unique, eyebrow-like seed heads and drought-tolerant foliage that turns golden in fall. Their root systems complement each other. Mertensia's shallow roots coexist with Monarda's spreading rhizomes, while Bouteloua's deep, fibrous roots stabilize the soil. Of interest, Monarda didyma was historically used by indigenous peoples as an antiseptic and herbal tea for digestive and respiratory ailments. This combination ensures a resilient, low-maintenance planting with vibrant color, pollinator support, and textural interest throughout the seasons. Blue grama is highly deer resistant, while bluebells and bee balm can be lightly browsed. Coreopsis verticillata, common name threadleaf coreopsis, Geum triflorum, or prairie smoke, and Symphyotrichum ericoides, common name heath aster, create a vibrant, seasonal dynamic planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions while supporting pollinators and adding textural interest. Geum triflorum blooms first in spring, producing nodding pink flowers that give way to feathery, smoke-like seed heads. Coreopsis verticillata flowers in summer, its fine thread-like foliage covered in bright yellow flowers that provide nectar for bees and butterflies. Symphyotrichum ericoides extends the display into fall, with clouds of small white flowers that sustain late-season pollinators. Their root systems are highly compatible. Geum's fibrous roots intermingle with Coreopsis's spreading rhizomes, while Symphyotrichum's deep, fibrous roots stabilize the soil. Notably, Geum triflorum was traditionally used by indigenous peoples as a medicinal plant for treating sore throats and digestive issues. This combination offers a long-lasting, low-maintenance planting with striking color and ecological benefits. All of these are occasionally browsed by deer. Ilex verticillata, common name winterberry, and Xanthorrhiza simplicissima, or yellowroot, create a resilient, wildlife-friendly planting that thrives in shady to part-shade conditions while providing year-round interest. Xanthorrhiza forms a dense, spreading ground cover with delicate spring flowers and vibrant golden yellow fall foliage, effectively suppressing weeds and stabilizing soil with its rhizomatous growth. Above it, Ilex verticillata offers a seasonal display. Clusters of small white flowers in spring support pollinators, followed by brilliant red berries in fall and winter that provide vital food for birds. Their root systems are highly compatible. Xanthorrhiza's shallow, spreading roots fill the understory, while Ilex establishes a deeper, woody root structure. Notably, Xanthorrhiza simplicissima was historically used for its rich yellow dye extracted from the roots. Together, they create a low-maintenance, visually dynamic planting that enhances biodiversity in shaded landscapes. Yellowroot is quite deer-resistant, whereas winterberry may be browsed but can grow above deer browsing height. Carex pennsylvanica, common name Pennsylvania sedge, Mehania cordata, or Meehan's mint, Phlox stolonifera, or creeping phlox, and Polemonian reptans, common name Jacob's ladder, create a lush, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in shady to part-shade conditions while providing a continuous display of seasonal blooms. Carex pennsylvanica forms a soft, semi-evergreen ground cover, stabilizing soil and suppressing weeds while allowing space for companion plants. Mehania cordata spreads quickly, producing violet-blue flowers in late spring and offering nectar for early pollinators. Phlox stolonifera follows with a profusion of pink, purple, or white blooms, enhancing the floral display through spring and early summer. Polemonium reptans adds delicate bell-shaped blue flowers in late spring, with its fern-like foliage persisting through the season. Their root systems are highly compatible. Carex and Mehania form shallow, spreading networks, while Phlox and Polemonium develop fibrous roots that integrate smoothly. Of interest, Mehania cordata has historical medical significance, traditionally used as a remedy for colds and sore throats. This combination ensures a visually rich, low-maintenance, and ecologically beneficial planting for shaded landscapes. These are all highly deer-resistant plants. Carex pennsylvanica, common name Pennsylvania sedge, Elymus hystrix, or bottlebrush grass, Polemonium reptans, or Jacob's ladder, and Polygonatum biflorum, common name Solomon's seal, create a well-balanced, low-maintenance planting that thrives in shady to part-shade conditions while providing texture, seasonal blooms, and wildlife support. Carex pennsylvanica forms a soft, flowing ground cover, stabilizing soil and suppressing weeds with its fine, arching foliage. Elymus hystrix adds vertical structure with tall, airy seed heads that persist into winter, offering habitat and food for birds. Polemonium reptans blooms in late spring with delicate blue flowers above fern-like foliage. Polygonatum biflorum follows with arching stems of dainty, bell-shaped flowers in early summer, later producing dark berries for wildlife. Their root systems are well matched. Carex and Polemonium form shallow networks, while Elymus and Polygonatum's deeper fibrous roots ensure stability. Notably, Polygonatum biflorum was historically used in traditional medicine as an anti-inflammatory and pain reliever. Together, this combination provides dynamic, layered planting that enhances biodiversity while maintaining a natural woodland aesthetic. The pen sedge, bottlebrush grass, and Jacob's ladder are all quite deer-resistant, while Solomon's seal is occasionally browsed. Allium cernuum, common name nodding onion, Carex radiata or eastern star sedge, and Iris versicolor or blue flag iris create a visually striking, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions while offering season-long interest. Carex radiata forms a soft, clumping ground cover that helps retain soil moisture and suppresses weeds with its fine texture foliage. Allium cernuum, or nodding onion, blooms in early to mid-summer, producing delicate, drooping pink flowers that attract bees and butterflies. Iris versicolor follows with bold blue-purple flowers in late spring to early summer, thriving in moist soils and providing nectar for pollinators. The root systems complement each other. Carex's fibrous roots weave through the soil. Allium's bulbs remain undisturbed beneath, and Iris's rhizomes anchor the planting. Notably, Iris versicolor was historically used in herbal medicine as a treatment for liver ailments and as a natural dye source. Together, these plants create a resilient, low-maintenance, and ecologically beneficial planting that enhances biodiversity while adding texture and color to the landscape. All three of these are highly deer-resistant. Carex radiata, common name eastern star sedge, Clethra acuminata, or mountain pepperbush, Fothergilla major, or Fothergilla, Hydrangea quercifolia, common name oakleaf hydrangea, Lindera benzoin, or spicebush, Pacra aurea, or golden groundsel, Viburnum dentatum, or arrowwood viburnum, and Viburnum nudum, common name smooth witherrod, create a rich, layered planting that thrives in shady to part-shade conditions while supporting pollinators, birds, and seasonal interest. Carex radiata forms a soft, flowing ground cover that stabilizes soils and suppresses weeds. Pacra aurea complements it with a dense mat of semi-evergreen foliage and golden spring blooms that provide early season nectar. Lindera benzoin or spicebush follows with fragrant yellow flowers in early spring, supporting pollinators and later producing red berries. Fothergilla major and Clethra acuminata add height and texture. Fothergilla's white bottlebrush flowers appear in spring, while Clethra's fragrant summer blooms attract bees. Hydrangea quercifolia extends the display into late summer with large, cone-shaped flower clusters that transition to deep red in fall. Viburnum dentatum and Viburnum nudum provide structure, each producing creamy white flowers in spring, followed by colorful berries in fall that feed wildlife. Their root systems are highly compatible. Carex and Pacra spread shallowly, while the shrubs establish deeper, stabilizing root structures. Of interest, Lindera benzoin was historically used for medicinal teas and as a spice substitute due to its aromatic leaves and berries. Together, this combination creates a resilient, low-maintenance planting that enhances biodiversity while offering year-round beauty and ecological benefits. The sedge, spicebush, and golden groundsel are inherently deer-resistant. The other shrubs may be browsed when young, but will grow above deer browsing range. Helenium autumnale, common name sneezeweed, Pacra aurea, or golden groundsel, and Thermopsis villosa or Carolina lupin create a vibrant, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions while offering season-long interest. Pacra aurea forms a dense, evergreen ground cover, suppressing weeds and producing golden yellow blooms in spring. Thermopsis villosa, or Carolina lupin, follows with tall spires of bright yellow flowers in late spring to early summer, attracting bees and butterflies. Helenium autumnale extends the bloom season into fall with its daisy-like golden flowers, providing a vital nectar source for late-season pollinators. Their root systems complement each other. Pacra's shallow rhizomes weave through the soil. Thermopsis's deep taproots anchor the planting, and Helenium's fibrous roots fill in the gap. Sneezeweed is an unfortunate misnomer. It's insect-pollinated, so it doesn't cause allergic reactions. It's confused with the wind-pollinated ragweed, which blooms at the same time and does make people sneeze. This combination ensures a long-lasting, low-maintenance, and ecologically beneficial display. All three are highly deer-resistant. Eupatorium dubium, common name little Joe Pye weed, Pacra aurea, or golden groundsel, Solidago rugosa, or rough goldenrod, and Symphyotrichum oblongifolium, common name aromatic aster, create a vibrant, pollinator-friendly planting that thrives in sunny to part-sun conditions while offering continuous seasonal interest. Pacra aurea establishes a dense ground cover, suppressing weeds and producing golden yellow blooms in spring. Eupatorium dubium rises in mid to late summer with clusters of soft pink flowers that attract butterflies.